Hello, gardening friends, and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow together. My name is Catherine, and I have some tips for you today. I went to one of the big box grocery stores, BJ's, and I happened to see that they had their summer bulbs already up in display there in the store. And I was saying to myself, oh, it feels so early because right now in most of the country, there's still snow on the ground from those blizzards that came up the East Coast. So I was thinking to myself, when is the best time to get these bulbs and what do you do with them and when would be the best time to plant? Now, I've grown a lot of bulbs, summer bulbs from Costco. I picked many of them up and it has been very successful for me. And yet there are some issues. So I want to give you some tips, some experiences, and also show you some of my plants that I've grown from the big box store assortments, which really is to me a good deal. If you picked up summer bulbs from your favorite big box store and you're wondering, is it time to plant these yet? This video is for you. Today I'm sharing 5 simple tips to help beginners in zone 6 and 7 plant summer bulbs the right way and at the right time. So the first tip is wait until after your last frost. Wait until the last frost. We still have some cold weather lurking around. And even on this day that I'm doing the video, the temperature dropped. It was 50 degrees the day before, but now it's in the 30s again. So the best thing is to wait until the end of the winter season. Wait for your last frost date. And if you're curious to figure that out, I did a video on that just before, so I'll make sure I put it there so that you can click on it and see that. Zone 7, that's usually early to mid-April, and in zone 6 is often mid to late April. And I would even say later than that as well. Tender summer bulbs do not like the cold soil or frost. And if you plant it too early, they can rot or stall. And remember, it's always safer to wait 1 extra week than to rush. And I would say if you're planting like cannas or other real tender bulbs, summer bulbs, then I would actually maybe start them in pots and then transplant them when the season warms up. Tip number 2, check the temperature, check the soil temperature. Tip number 2 is to check your soil temperature. Summer bulbs prefer soil that's at least 60 degrees. And if your lawn is actively growing and your trees are fully leafed out, that's a good natural sign to let you know that your soil has warmed up. Remember that cold, soggy soil is the #1 mistake beginners make. Yes, when the soil is cold and when it is soggy, then it's gonna cause your bulbs to rot. And you don't want that, no, because we want them to grow. Number 3, inspect your bulbs. Now, this has happened to me time and time again, especially in the fall when I'm planting daffodils, that I get the daffodil bulbs early and then I have them sitting around, and when I am ready to actually put them in the ground, they have already begun to rot and I end up losing a lot of them. So I am admonishing you to inspect your bulbs before planting. Inspect those bulbs carefully and make sure they're firm and not mushy, then that they don't have mold or that they're not shriveled. The big box store bulbs sometimes sit on the shelves for weeks, and then by the time you bring them home, they're sitting and you're waiting for them also to plant them, because you're waiting for the soil to warm up, you're waiting for the weather to change, you're waiting for everything to come together, and old man winter decides to lag on, doesn't want to let go and let springs come forth. But one of the things, as I said before, is that if you see that it's getting too late in the season, you might want to pot them up. And I have some videos too of potting up some of my summer bulbs. So I'll look for those videos and place them throughout so that you can watch it. So if you're planting dahlias and they seem a little dry, you can soak them in water for an hour or two before planting. And I found that really helps. That if some of your bulbs, like cannas and dahlias and some of the other bulbs, that you can, before you plant them in any pots or put them in the ground, just let them soak in water so that they can hydrate again. And healthy bulbs give you stronger summer blooms. And it does work. Giving them and doing that extra step of giving them extra water really, really helps the plant to get that moisture that they need. And then they do come up and show out really well. Tip number 4, plant at the right depth. Here's an easy rule. Plant bulbs 2 to 3 times as deep as they are tall. For example, gladiolas, about 4 inches deep. Cannas, about 4 inches deep. Loosen the soil well and make sure it drains properly. Summer bulbs love warmth, but they hate wet feet. I find though the cannas don't mind having their feet wet a little bit, but we will also want to not let the soil, you also don't want the soil to get too soggy. No. Tip number 5, choose a sunny spot. And finally, choose that sunny location. Most summer bulbs need 6 to 8 hours of sunlight each day. Add compost to your soil, water them well, and after planting, and then let the warmth of late spring do the rest. So, in zone 7, you'll usually plant late April into early May, and in zone 6, early to mid-May is ideal. And I would even say closer to June. It depends on where you are in zone 6, because the temperature still is kind of cool, even in May. This is my closing encouragement to you. And here's something encouraging. Even if you plant a little late, summer bulbs are forgiving. And I think they actually love it when you plant them a little late. They'll simply bloom a little later. And you will have blooms in the fall. It'll be extending. You'll be extending your garden joy into late summer and into early fall if the temperature is still warm in your area. Gardening teaches patience, and patience always rewards us. If this video helped you, share it with another gardening friend, and let me know in the comments what summer bulbs you're planting this year, and if you've already started looking for summer bulbs, and have you found them in your big box stores or in a Costco or a VJ's, and which ones are you going to add to your garden? Put it in the comments below. And if you like this video, then like, share, and subscribe, and also share it with others. Thank you so much for watching here at Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. See you soon. Bye. I have some peaches. The hostas are flowering, so we get that nice soft purple flower from the hostas. The side of the border is just beautiful. And then we come around to these beautiful Casablanca lilies that they've kind of fallen down from the weight of the rain that we've been having. But the perfume, the fragrance is just so nice. And then my little container here. The calla lilies have bloomed, and I just like how it looks here. I also planted some of these perennials here that have these yellow flowers, and it is showing up so nice with the bee balm and the lilies. I love this. With that hosta, very pretty. I'm heading out to Costco to do some shopping, but also I know that at this time they have the spring bulbs. So I'm going to take a look at it, and I'm taking you shopping with me. So come with me as we go to Costco's and we get some spring bulbs to put in the ground to make our summer garden beautiful. I'm here at Costco, and they have the bulbs out, the spring bulb assortment, and it is beautiful. They have the elephant ear, begonias. Look at that, very nice. Calendrium, I think I'm gonna get this. Caladium, I say calendrium, I mean caladium. And different ones. And then they have the iris, the daylilies. Oh my goodness, this is so good. The alliums. I am so thrilled that I'm able to get this now. This is so good. And the hostas. Big Daddy, wow, that is huge. The iris, the fern, begonias, those are nice. They also have this other selection here. This is $19.99. where you can get a combination. They kind of set it up for you. And then they have this here. This one's on sale, $16.99, $3 off. I like this elephant ear, this one right here. It says 2. Let's look at this. Wow, that's pretty. They also have other trending tropical plants available as well. And they have the orchids and the fern. I am back from my trip to Costco, and it was very nice. I enjoyed watching and looking at all of the different bulbs, and I ended up getting these caladiums. I had them before in the past, and it was just so beautiful in the garden. So this is what I'm going to be adding to my garden, and I'm thinking about putting them in these pots here that I have. I have these 2 pots, and I think they will look nice in the pots. I also got another variety here, and this is Caroline Wotton. Very pretty as well. And I'm going to just put them around. It's 10 caladiums here, and I've had great success with caladiums before. So I think that both of them are going to be a great addition to the garden. So that was my trip to Costco, and I think it was a great success. Today my goal is to pot up these caladiums and the callas into pots and to get them started and put them in my greenhouse that I put together here so that they can be housed there. And when the temperatures rise to about 55, then I can plant them out in the garden. place them out in the garden. But I do want to pot up these caladiums and the callas, get them started. And if I leave them here in this greenhouse, that will help them to get started with the root growth. And you know, when the roots start to come out, then I'll be able to know that it's time to actually put them in the ground. And that's exactly what I did last year, and I had a lot of good success. Hello, and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow together. I potted up the calla lilies, potted up the cannas, potted up some of my cabbage, one of my bottle cabbages that I had in the bottle. I decided to test it out because it was looking like if it was getting some iron deficiency. So I just wanted to see where they are, and it looks so good. I also was doing some planting in the garden, as well as just putting things together in my makeshift greenhouses that I have. And it has just been a really rich and full day. So come with me as we work in the garden here at Catherine's Garden and Home. Here are the caladiums that I'm going to put in these pots. I think these are 6-inch pots, and I'm going to put 2 per bulb in the pot. So that should give me 6 pots of caladiums. I'm going to use compost, water them in, and then put them in a greenhouse setting so that they can develop the roots. First, I'm going to soak the bulbs, and these are the caladium pink cloud, and they're pink and green. They bloom summer through fall, full shade to part shade. So these are going to want full shade to part shade. More than likely, I'm going to put them back in the same location where I had placed them last year in the back garden, and use that space for the caladiums. I'm hoping actually to place the caladiums next to these begonias because they both like partial shade, and I think they're going to look really good together there in the garden. This is what the bulb looks like. This is the top of the bulb, and this is the bottom. You can kind of tell that this is the bottom because these are where the roots are coming out. So what I'm doing is just placing them inside some water for a little bit so that they can plump up, because you can tell that they're very dry and they need some hydrating before I put them in soil. This is a good size. So they're sitting in water here, and in a little while I'm going to come and put them into the pots. I would say about a half an hour to an hour, let them get a good soak, and then I will transplant them into the soil. I'm going to put them in these little pots and put some soil in there and plant them in. What I'm going to do next is fill up these pots with soil, and I also have Miracle Grow. I was able to pick up some Miracle Grow Shake all-purpose fertilizer that I'm going to put in the pot as well with the compost. I'm using compost with these plants, with the caladiums, and they're going to live their life out in the pots. I don't think I'm going to take them out of the pots and put them into the ground, directly into the ground. I think that they actually do well in the pots, and I'm going to do just like what I did last year, which was to tuck them in amongst the other plants in the garden, and they did very, very well there. I have 12 caladiums, and I was able to get 12 pots, so I believe that I'm going to put one caladium into each pot, and since I have the pots, I might as well utilize them, and that way I know that the caladiums will have plenty of room to grow, and they'll get pretty big. So let me get started on filling up each pot with soil and with a little of the Miracle Grow. Okay, so I'm going to place each of the bulbs in. Now this is the bottom and this is the top, so you just kind of stick it in. This looks like a nice good size one, so let me stick it in like that. This looks like the top here. Bigger ones, I want to kind of put the larger ones in the bigger pots. They all are a good size. This is a nice big chunky one here. Let me see, I can put it in that one. So it's kind of smaller. They became very plump, which is really good. Let's see, stick that one in here, and the final one, and just place them there. So they're all placed in, and what I'm going to do is now cover them lightly with some soil and just set them in to grow some roots and get stronger. So I have here my calla lilies, and I'm going to soak them as well, and I have these 2 pots that I'm going to put them in that I had from last year, and I think they're going to look really pretty in the pots. Yeah, could you just imagine? Use your imagination. Yeah, I think that's going to look really pretty. So what I'm going to do is put 6 in. Well, actually there's 6 all together, and I'm going to put 3 in each pot. So let's take a look at them, and then also soak them for a little bit too, while so that they can be nice and plump and ready. The name of the calla lilies is Calla Lily Garnet Glow and Calla Grape Velvet, and they're both in separate packages. So let's just see what they look like. So this is what it looks like. It almost looks like the caladium bulb, the calla lily bulb. So I'm going to just put them in water, rest them in here, and let them plump up a little bit. So that's a good size one. You know, they might even just need their own separate pot. Look at this one. That's a good size. So this is the top, and this is the bottom. The bottom, the flat side. And here's the other one. Yeah, these are really good size bulbs. Okay, let's look at the other set. Ooh, this looks good. Yeah, not too bad. And the last one, let's see if we can find that last one. This one's kind of small. All right, so they're all in there, and then we're going to place them in. I think what I will do is put, try to even them out so that they're evenly distributed within the pots here. I also have some potting soil that I'm going to be mixing with this. So in this one I have potting soil, compost. I'm going to put a little bit of the Miracle-Gro, and that should be good for these bulbs. They should do well in this. A little lighter soil. The calla lily bulbs have been sitting in the water for about a half an hour or so, and now I'm going to transplant them into the pot. They are a good size, so I've decided instead of putting 3 in these 2 pots, I'm going to actually put 2 in a pot, and hopefully I'll be able to sort them out pretty well here so that they will have plenty of space to grow. Now this is a good size. This is a really good size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick this one in here because it almost looks like 2 bulbs versus 1. So I'm going to just stick that one right in the middle there like that, and then I'm going to place this one here in this pot here, and another large size one here into this pot like that. Then let's divide up the rest of them. So since this one is a bigger pot, I'm going to put this one in here with it. It's going to be interesting to find out what color comes up because they've all been mixed in together. So this one here, I'm going to just add this to this pot, and the last one will go in this pot. Yeah. So let me just kind of move them over a little bit so that they're more spaced out a little bit. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to the calla lily bulbs, and that would be great to have these 3 different pots that I can place in the garden in different places, or even just leave here on the deck depending on what I want to do. So now I'm just going to cover them up lightly. You do not cover these bulbs with a lot of soil. You don't want to plant them too deeply. You want to just plant them lightly in here. So I have some mixed up potting soil that I'm going to use, mixed up potting soil that I'm going to use to just sprinkle on them lightly. Cover them up lightly. And the light potting soil won't inhibit them from sprouting because the soil is light. And as I said, I mixed this soil with compost and with this potting soil. I also put a little bit of the Miracle-Gro in it as well. So that's it. We've finished with the calla lilies. Isn't that fantastic? So I'm looking forward to them sprouting. So just imagine beautiful callas coming out of this pot. Let me see if I can set it up for you. Yeah, isn't that pretty? And this is going to be pretty coming out of the white pot and then out of the blue. Yeah, so I'm going to put them in the greenhouse here. I believe I'm going to just put them in here in this greenhouse and let them sit here. That way I can monitor them. But since I'm in the mood, let's get with it. Let's let the inspiration continue. And these are very beautiful. This is Pitoria Canna, and I love the leaves. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. These are what the canna looks like. You could see that this here is ready to start to sprout, and this one as well. The others are kind of small, but they're looking good. So I'm going to just put them in water, allow them to plump up a little bit, and then we will place them in the pot. Just dump them in there. But that's good to see that they're already starting to sprout, because that's a good sign that they're ready to go. So we'll let them sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to put them in the containers. In these Proven Winners containers, I'm going to put the cannas, and they have been soaking here. The cannas have been soaking here in water, and I'm going to transplant them into the pots there and put them out so that they can start to develop their roots. And the way that you can tell which way to put it down is that you can see the roots on the bottom there. Don't you see the roots at the bottom? Yeah. And so here you can see that it's coming up. They will just sprout up towards the light. So in this container, I'm going to put these other two. I'm going to need to mix this up a little bit more. Yeah, because this is kind of rough. But I don't think that they will mind, because this is good compost. I even put in the shavings so that it will lighten it up hopefully a little bit, and they will grow. I think that they're just going to like this pot because it's very rich. It's compost, and they're going to like the compost. And just as long as it's well draining, and these pots are well draining pots. This is a leaf. So I think it's going to be just fine. All right, so let's look at this one. Here you can see these where the roots are. So I'm going to, it looks like it's, I don't know how healthy this one is. Oh no, this is rotten. This one's no good. Alright, so I guess we won't be using the third pot. It turned out that I am not going to need more than these 3 pots. One of them was really soft in the middle. This one is kind of too, but there's still some life in it, so we'll see what happens if they do flower. They're a little mushy in the middle. So we'll see. But if I get 2 good ones out of this, then that's not too bad. We know that that's alive. We know that this one is alive. All right. So I'm going to cover them up and put them away. I planted the cabbage in these water bottles, and they are looking pretty decent inside. But I think that they need some more nutrition. So this is what I've done, is just kind of pull it out here, and I'm going to pot it up in this little pot here, because it looks like it can do with some fresh nutrients, and I don't want to lose it. So let's pot it up and see what happens. Let's see if I can scoop it up. Okay, let's see how we can do this. Oh, you could see the roots. Do you see the roots? Do you see the roots? That's pretty cool. So let me gently put it in there. Oops. Not bad. Placing it in. See if I can get a little bit more soil. So I've added some more soil to it. And I didn't break my camera, which is good. So I planted it up. Now I'm just going to water it in and put it in my greenhouse. And that should help it along because it now has some fresh nutrients there. So I'm going to try and do that with the others to pot them up as well. I've decided to give it some nutrients here, some fertilizer from Roberta's Bounty All-Purpose Plant Food, and I'm going to spray it using my water bottle here, my spray bottle, and that way I can water it in but also give it some more nutrients there. And I think what I'm going to do is just spray in each of the bottles because I'm not really ready to pot them up, but they do look like they're turning green, and I think it's a lack of nutrients because that alternative soil really doesn't offer a lot of nutrients, and they need some fertilization. And to come this far and lose my plants, that would be terrible. So I'm going to try this to fertilize them and see if this will help to get back the color. Looks like an iron deficiency maybe. Okay, well, the rest of these plants look good. This is my alyssum. They seem to be doing very well here. So I'll give them a little spritz. And I also planted some of the alyssum around my David Austin rosebush here in this container. I think that's going to look sweet. All right. So I feel a little bit better. I think that they will green up hopefully real soon. It has been just such a pleasure being in the garden during this time. It's not too hot, not too cold. When the sun is out, you can really feel the warmth of the sun. And now that the sun is behind the clouds, it is still very pleasurable here in the garden. So thank you so much for coming and joining me here at Catherine's Garden and Home. And if you like what you see, come on back and join this gardening community. I want to say thank you to all of my gardeners, and gardening friends. And I hope that you've learned something new while you've been with me here at Catherine's Garden and Home. When I look at the containers, look at how it's overflowing with flowers. The impatiens are just overflowing here. And also the nasturtiums have picked up. I don't know what's happened here with this leaf here, but the canna is looking pretty good, and also the caladiums are spreading out and filling up, and it looks really beautiful. This one here, this container with the begonias in it are looking good. The begonias are growing and flowering. And I'm so impressed with how the sedum is taking its place here in the garden. Also, the cannas are getting larger. And this one here, this container is looking really good too. Both of the cannas are growing in, and these nasturtiums are really finding their place here with the beautiful, look at that, how beautiful that is. I love these caladiums. I love the coloring, and it just matches so well with the impatiens. This is just a beautiful sight here. And then in the very back here, it is definitely much more shadier than other parts of the garden. And the caladiums are doing well there as well. caladiums in my garden, and next year I plan on buying more. Last year I only bought 1 package, but this year I bought 3, and I kept 2 for myself and I gave 1 away. Well, next year I will not be giving any away because I love them and I think they're a great addition to the garden, especially now when we're looking for something new and fresh and exciting to add to the garden. Experiencing a lot of joy and that you are feeling the peace of the garden when you come and visit me here at Catherine's Garden and Home. And I thank you so much for being a part of this community. Come on and join us here at Catherine's Garden and Home and share the videos with your friends and family and invite them into this beautiful garden. And we will experience a lot of joy and fun and relaxation as we grow together in Catherine's Garden and Home. Well, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. See you next time right here at Catherine's Garden and Home.